Hi, and welcome to the tutorial on the stamp layer. In order to get to a stamp layer, you have to go up to Add a New Layer. And if you look at the different layers that are available to you, you'll see that some of them have different symbols next to it. The symbols that look like different layers and are red, green, and blue symbolize stamps. So if you go up to Imagery and hit the image sets, you'll see that here are a lot of different stamp sets. So you can choose whichever one you'd like to look at. I'm going to click on High Rise. You'll see, depending on which stamp selection you click, that there will be different parameters available to you. The basic parameters allow you to put in an image ID if you already know the image you're looking for, or particular longitude and latitude. If you want to come down to advanced parameters, you can also click that. And depending on what you're looking for, you can put in different parameters. You'll notice that these all have a question mark after them. If you put your mouse over it and leave it there, it'll tell you a little hint of what is supposed to go there or what the computer is looking for. So it can be pretty useful to have that question mark. If you go back to the top, you can see there's this button called Set Long Lat to bounds a view. If you click this, it'll say Main View under Longitude. This is a way of bringing up all the stamps that are in your main view. So if I press OK, it'll gather all the stamps that are in my main view. So if you look at my panner view, there's no stamps to the left or right of the main view. We're going to zoom in. And you'll see an outline of a bunch of different things, but basically a stamp is an outline of an image that was taken on the surface. So if you want to see the actual image, you can click it and it'll turn yellow. And then you right click and it'll give you either some specifications that you can choose from, or if you just want to render the image so you can see it, you can click Render Selected and it makes that image for you. So then we're going to come in and double click the layer so we can get more parameters. If you go to the Outlines tab, this area will give you a list of the different stamps that are being shown to you. And depending on what kind of stamps you choose, these columns can change. But this particular high rise is giving us the product ID, the clock and start count of when the image was taken, and the local time that it was taken at. If you go up to the tab and right click, you can see that there are a bunch of different columns that you can choose from. So you can actually click on some of these and it will add all these different columns. So you can even choose to show all, but keep in mind there are a lot here, so you might just want to go through them. And press OK. And now you can see that all of those columns have been added. So right now, if you double click on the product ID, you'll see that this downward arrow indicates how it's being sorted. So all of these columns are being sorted based off the product ID in descending order. And you can change that to ascending order, or you can change the column that it's being sorted on by double clicking the tab. And you'll see the arrow now go to this column. You can also sort based off a secondary column by holding down Shift and double clicking the tab you want double sorted. So you'll see an arrow, you'll see a single arrow indicating that it's being mainly sorted off this column. The double arrow indicates that it's a secondary sorting column. So say I want these columns to be next to each other, I can actually just click and drag and I can put them next to each other. You can move any columns you'd like. It's real easy, you just click and drag. The next tab is the Filters tab. Here if you click the plus sign, it'll give you a couple different options to choose filters based on. So for instance, if I want to do a local time filter, I would click it and press OK. And then you have to make sure that this box is clicked in order for it to be activated. And if you know what kind of values you want to put in, you can put them in manually in these boxes. Or you can play with the scroll bar And you'll see if you look on the main view and the panner view, as I move this, different options become available to me. You can add more than one filter also. You just click and choose which one you want to do. Press OK, and it's the same thing. You just have to make sure that box is clicked, and then you can move the filter around as well. The rendered tab shows you all the images that you've rendered. Right now I only have one image rendered, so it's only showing me one image. But basically this is where you would see all of your different images. So let's show you an example of how to render more than one image at a time. So say I want to see all of these images. I can actually just select them, right click, and render all of them at the same time. Now when I go into my layer, my rendered tab has more than one image there. So you can click these and it'll show you with a yellow outline which one you're clicking. You can even move them around. And then if you go down here to selected stamps, you can actually move these stamps around if you'd like to. But do keep in mind that JMARS will save whatever you've changed within a matter of seconds. So for instance, if I want to move this up, I'll see that over here my Y offset is 0.0049, but if I leave it here for a while, then JMARS will save it. So if you don't want it saved, make sure you press this reset offset button, and it'll put your stamp back in its original position. Below that you'll see an area that looks familiar. This is how you change the grayscale, by right clicking and changing the color like we learned in the last tutorial. Or you can move this bar and change the color schemes. If you go to the next tab, this area is where you can change little things. So say you want the outline to stand out, you can actually change the color. And if you want the fill color to change, you can also change that. And you can even change your alpha. The query is an area that looks familiar from when we first opened the stamp layer. This is where you can put in your different parameters and have JMARS give you back different stamps. Well, that's it for this tutorial. Thanks for joining me.